Hey, welcome to Talking Pop Culture with Jake D. I just got back from seeing Bill and Ted Face the Music, and I'm here to give you my thoughts, run through what I thought about the movie. I'll give you a recap of what we saw and talk about what we're seeing and what it was worth. So start off, second night in a row going to a theater. Again, lots and lots of fun. Went to my local Flicks Brew House again. Hail Flicks Brew House. Great time. The staff is outstanding. They treat you well, and zero complaints about the environment at the theater. I really, really hope that folks who see this will feel comfortable going back to the theaters because they're doing a great job. Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm a big fan of Bill and Ted overall. When I was 10 years old, I saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I've been thinking about it, and I can't remember if I saw it on the VHS release or if I saw it in theaters, but I do know that I went to see Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in the theaters because I remember begging my parents to take me. I was the age where we were the right age to be Bill and Ted fans, to be people who kind of grew up with it and became sort of part of the cult following that is Bill and Ted. You know, they had an animated series, they had the TV show, video games, the whole bang, right? Bill and Ted was fun. It was two crazy California dudes, and they were just out there, right? Never particularly smart, but they were fun, and they encapsulated a lot of what the pop culture of the 80s was. And to me, that is still there. Went today to see Bill and Ted Face the Music, and there's a lot of things about it that I was concerned about when I sort of initially started seeing the trailers, hearing a little bit about what might be in the plot. You find out that they've got daughters and things like that. And it was, something that there was a little bit of worry there, right? Because a lot of rebooted franchises have not been true to their past. There's things that the studios do to franchises these days that make a lot of the old school fans, kids who grew up with it, like my good buddy Ben that's in the chat here, whom I've known since I was a kid. You know, he probably went and saw Bill and Ted when we were that age also. And none of those problems are present in this movie. I'm so happy to say this movie was still Bill and Ted. It was put together by the original writer and producer, Ed Solomon. He gave some great interviews on a YouTube channel, Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. They've done some great coverage of Bill and Ted Face the Music. And I am just so happy to say that all of the heart and the fun that made Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure so beloved by my generation is still there. I could not emphasize more how much this was definitely still the same franchise. It was the same guys, and it was the same thing that made us love it when we were kids and wear out VHS tapes and buy 5 DVDs because you lost the first 4, because this is a movie that you want to keep because it's something you love. Bill and Ted Face the Music is right in line with all of that. If I had to say rank the 3 movies personally, I would say that Excellent Adventure is the best, and I would put Face the Music in second with Bogus Journey in a close third. I definitely enjoyed it. I went with my girlfriend, and she had a blast. Her comment when we were leaving was, "Oh my God, I think that was the best one of all of them." She liked it better than Excellent Adventure. What this movie was at its heart, beyond just being a Bill and Ted movie, is it was a movie about family. Bill and Ted are good dads. And oh boy, was I happy to see that. Their daughters adore them and idolize them. And they have a wonderful relationship. And you've got a great duality between Bill and Ted, the aging rocker guys, still trying to capture the magic of their youth. And then you've got, on the other hand, their daughters who are they worship their fathers. The relationship between the two of them is wonderful, and everybody's trying to help each other out to save the world and time and space and the universe, right? I mean, it's Bill and Ted. There's going to be craziness. We get a great return by William Sadler as Death, and the relationship that apparently broke down between Death and Bill and Ted, and a resolution and a burying of the hatchet there was very cool to see. And the only thing that I missed that I was hoping to see, although he was referenced, we didn't get to see him in person, and that was Station, the Martian with the most glorious rear end, which was a bummer. I was hoping to see Station, but we did get a reference. You know, there were a couple of Station during the movie, which was cool. And so, you know, at the end of the day, this was fun. I laughed a lot. There were some really good scenes between Bill and Ted and their wives, the princesses, and then the daughters in separate beats. It was fun. Overall plot outline, I won't get too deep into spoilers, but I'm definitely going to hit on some. So if you don't want spoilers, good time to check out. If you don't mind them, fair warning, I'm getting into it now. Bill and Ted, as we know from the trailer, are these aging rockers who still haven't written the song to save the world. They get visited by a stand-in for Rufus because, of course, George Carlin, you know, rest his soul, is no longer with us to do that himself. The woman who comes back is Kelly, Rufus's daughter. The name of the character in the movie was specifically given to her as an honor to George Carlin, whose real-life daughter is named Kelly, and incidentally had a cameo in the movie when they visit the future and talk to the ruling council. So again, nice homage to Carlin, which was really, really good. Liked to see that. They definitely honored him. His presence is felt in the movie. Kelly comes back, lets them know they've got 75 minutes to save the world, basically. And they have got to put this song together to unite all of time and space. And hence they kick off. You know, they got 75 minutes to write the song that's going to save the world. How on God's green earth are they going to do that? Well, Bill gets the bright idea to steal it from themselves. They visit themselves at several points throughout the future trying to get the song, and calamity ensues at several points here. In the meantime, the leader of the council in the future has sent back a killer robot like a Terminator, essentially. I mean, it's the Terminator is who she sends back to try and take out Bill and Ted, because there's an alternative that thinks Bill and Ted must die in order to unite all of time and space. You know, maybe it's, you know, to the effect of great musicians become ridiculously famous and better after their death. You know, it's something along those lines, right? It's the interpretation that Bill and Ted have to die. So she sends a Terminator robot after them who kind of looks a lot like Death at first. You get, you know, real vibes of William Sadler's Death from this robot. But of course, this robot, Dennis, is not Death. William Sadler comes back as Death himself. And so hijinks through time as they're visiting their future us's to try to steal their own song from them. And in parallel to this, little Bill and Ted, their daughters, are running along trying to find a way to help their dads to play that song that's going to save the universe by going back and collecting various historical legends of music, including Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, Mozart, and a few others that the names are you're probably not going to remember, but they find a drummer in 10,000 BC. They find a flutist in ancient China, and they put together the band that's going to play Bill and Ted's song. Bill and Ted finally get to the point where they're in a nursing home and getting ready to die. And finally, those old Bill and Teds have the song to give them that they need to play to save the universe. Everything's going to be fine, right? Well, the evil Terminator tells them that he's killed their daughter and their daughters and the band that they put together. So they have the robot kill them, and they go to hell to collect the band and their daughters, where they, of course, encounter death. They make a deal to get back to Earth, and everybody pops back in, and they're stuck on a highway as time is unraveling. And it happens to be the place and the moment where the song has to be played to save existence. And the daughters who've been collecting all of this are musical history geniuses because they worship their dads. They love their dads. And so there's a moment where it's realized by Bill and Ted that their daughters are going to put everything together for them to play the song. So it's really important. Bill and Ted still play the song to save the universe like they always did. There's no change to that. It is still Bill and Ted who do it. Their daughters arrange the ensemble using all these historical musicians that they've collected to help their dads. And then their dads take the stage at the exact moment and begin to play the song. And everything in existence comes into alignment. And you get, this really solid conclusion and end to this story that, started way back in theaters in 1989. Bill and Ted have finally performed the song that saves the universe. And it is a story about the love that daughters have for their fathers. And as a father of daughters myself, it was touching to me in whatever way a silly, crazy comedy like Bill and Ted can be. I felt a touching moment there because I think about my daughters a lot when I see these sorts of things, and seeing, a couple of good dads whose daughters love them, that they've taken care of their kids and their daughters come to help them when they most need it. That, for me as a dad, that was cool. It was really cool. And it was one of the best things about that was Hollywood likes to make dads deadbeats. They like to make dads pieces of shit, and they like to make dads worthless and just the bad guys in many ways. There's lots and lots of examples of it. I'm not going to go into it, but there hasn't been a good dad in a Hollywood production in ages. And you know what? We did not get that with Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted are great fathers whose daughters love them and that they have nurtured and taken care of throughout their lives. And Bill and Ted's quality as parents is what brought everything together to save the universe. Not only that, but their quality as husbands and loving their wives was also key and critical to bringing everything together. And these sorts of themes that we see, particularly as you come into the denouement in the third act of the film, is truly what makes this a family movie. This is a movie that it is safe to let your kids watch, whether you're taking them to a theater. And hey, theaters are being really good about making you comfortable in that environment. I cannot encourage you more to go to the theaters. Go see your local theater. They need you. All right, go watch this in theaters. But if you're not going to, you can buy this movie, buy it on Amazon for $25 right now, which, you know what? That's cheaper than it would be for you to take 2-3 people to the theater and get your popcorn and whatever. It is well worth it. Or, if you're not sure you want to do that, you can pay $20 to rent the movie. For me, for $5 more, I'm going to own it. In fact, right before I started the stream, I did buy this movie because I did enjoy it that much, and I believe in it, and I want this movie to succeed. It is a fun movie. It is full of laughs, and it makes you feel good as you're walking out the door, as well as throughout the play. I liked this movie so much. If I had to give it kind of a score, I'd put it at, maybe an 8 out of 10, A minus type grade. It is a good, fun movie. It is worth seeing, and I sure do hope that you will. One of the best things about it is the movie took a long time to get made. The first drafts of this movie were getting tossed around 10 years ago. And Keanu wanted to do it. Winters wanted to do it. Solomon wanted to do it, the old writer and producer. And they got a good director attached to it who enjoyed and loved the content. Now, all these guys, Keanu Reeves commands $20 million a picture right now. Dude is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He did this movie for union scale because he doesn't have any choice. He has to take some pay. All right. So he did it for union scale. But you know what he did with his paycheck for this movie? He sunk it back into the movie as a producer in order to help get the thing made, to help fund it himself. So this was a love letter to both of the original Bill and Ted's movies. It was a project of the heart that was very, very enjoyable. I'm so happy that I got to see this. Mary says that her favorite part of the Bill and Ted movies, it was her favorite, and it's the best storyline, and she really liked the daughters. So did I. They were really good, and in particular, Little Bill, who is Ted's daughter, was so good. I mean, she's got all the same motions of her dad, and they worked together well, and they were a family. I cannot say enough how much this was a family movie. It was a family picture that was about love and about how working together we can achieve greatness, which is so cool. And all the laughs. There wasn't a moment where I was shaking my head saying, what, WTF? It was fun from start to finish. There's a couple of slow spots in there, but overall, good movie. I liked the length of it. They kept it to a brisk 90 minutes, which is good for this type of film. Very solid presentation and bringing this particular stuff to you. One of the favorite scenes that I had when I was watching this is that there's a moment where when the daughters are collecting the historical musicians, where Mozart is playing, and he's playing in a classical Mozart style, and Jimmy plugs in, right? Because they're recruiting and they're trying to get Mozart, and Mozart's playing, and then Jimmy does his version of Mozart on his electric guitar. And there's it's like almost like a rap battle. They're going back and forth riffing with each other, and and this is like classical Mozart music, and Jimmy's doing his interpretation on the guitar, and eventually it draws Mozart out. And it was musically, it was a beautiful scene, and it was really cool seeing the two of them do that back and forth, because it was unique. And to me, I'm a layman as far as music's concerned, but it was beautiful to me, right? I enjoyed Jimmy on the guitar doing Mozart, and then Mozart coming back at him, and it was a very neat and fun scene that I enjoyed the hell out of. So again, overall, great movie. I already bought it after seeing it in the theaters, because you can buy it on Amazon and other digital marketplaces right now, or you can choose to rent it. Either way, I think it's well worth your money. You should go see it in theaters, or you should buy it streaming. Whichever way it is, good movie, good fun, and it was a fitting close to Bill and Ted's story. All right, if you watched this long, I certainly do encourage and ask that you like the video. Please share it with your friends on social media. And if you have not, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that's the way for a new creator like myself to get more traction out there and continue to bring you content. That way you can get alerts and notifications when I go live or release a video. Thank you so much for listening this long, and I will see you on the next video or live stream. I'll be talking Tenet on Tuesday.